Hiya Sam, thank you very much for all of your information that you sent over to me, babe. I think I've managed to actually complete everything that I've needed to do in order to put these plans together for you, okay? Now, this is basically going to be a little bit of a conversational thing where we're talking back and forth, making sure that you're happy with everything that's in the plan and making sure that you're happy every single day, especially this week before I leave to go to Canada for the Commonwealth. So I'm going to the Commonwealth on the 12th, so I want you to at least try these up until that date, as in like these macros and this nutrient timing, the supplementation protocol. You probably won't be able to get the supplements in time before we leave, but it's going to give us at least a lot of time in order to have some back and forth with each other to make sure that you're comfortable before I'm away for a week, okay? So I'm just going to walk you through exactly what you need and exactly how you actually track everything, how you check in with me on a weekly basis, and everything else in between. All right, sweet. So this is just your first initial data collection page. As you can see here, this is your personal information, your personal goals, start weight, start date, etc., etc. I've given you basically daily NEAT levels in terms of your steps. Now, NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is just basically the movement that you're going to be doing on a day-to-day basis. I didn't realistically have a good deal of an idea of what you're doing in terms of your steps, so that's the reason why I've put on average I'd like you to do about 10 to 12k. Reason for that is because the amount of work that you do in your sessions, you hadn't sent me over a like a skeleton powerlifting plan that you do at the moment, but because you're only going to be actually training 3 days a week, your energy expenditure from powerlifting alone is not that great. You're not going to be burning a lot of calories from that. So basically I want you to kind of get moving a little bit more from there, okay? A lot of the strength sports is basically down to like a neurological adaptation. So you're going to be creating neurological pathways to enhance your strength rather than actually burning a lot of calories. But when you do have your brand new plan or your program that you're following at the moment and you've got it to hand, if you can just take a snapshot of that and then send it over to me, that would be really appreciative. Because from there, I'll be able to actually analyze how much energy expenditure you do burn. So that way we can correlate exactly what you're going to be needing to ingest at the same time, okay? So in terms of cardio, I have actually asked you just to do one rest day cardio a week because you're doing your yoga as well. Now that's going to be 30 minutes of medium intensity steady state, and that's going to be just for aerobic function and recovery. So I want your heart rate to be around about the 135 to 140 beats per minute. That is going to enhance your recovery capabilities, and it's also going to keep your ticker healthy, okay? So from there as well, you're going to be a lot more comfortable with your body image because you were saying before that you wanted to obviously get a bit leaner too. So that's the primary goal at the moment as well of course maintaining your weight for the under 72 M1 category on the 26th of October, which is really exciting, isn't it? So these are going to be yours daily macros. Now I am doing these as a daily macro intake. So macro wise, you're going to have 112 grams of carbohydrate, 87 grams worth of fat, and 155 grams of protein. Now, this is including absolutely everything, okay? Now, when I mean everything, even the carbohydrates in broccoli, I want you to actually count, okay? Reason being is because you do have PCOS, we've got to be really careful with your insulin sensitivity and your insulin response. Now, unfortunately, girls with PCOS or women with PCOS, for example, do have a very, very poor insulin response. So we want to try and keep carbohydrates as low as possible and on like the lower glycemic, lower FODMAP area, and then keep fats high to improve insulin response and insulin sensitivity over time. That associated with your cardio and your daily NEAT levels and your yoga that you do as well is all going to come together and make you a hell of a lot better in terms of insulin sensitivity. I have also given you some supplementations, which is in this tab here. You have got different tabs that I will go through, but you have got some supplementation advice on here as well. One of which is going to be the inositol. I don't know if you've actually received that or if you've ever used it previously, but this one is very, very good. The other thing that I'd like you to probably have a look at is either berberine HCl, or Glycomax. Glycomax is a stronger amount. You can get this from Strom Sports as well, okay? And what I want you to do is, again, take the full dose, which is going to be about, for yourself, 4 tabs, and that's going to be 4 tabs twice a day. Okay, twice a day. So those are the two that are very, very, very important. The other things like the zinc, the krill, and the vitamin C, we could probably get those from your diet. So I'm not going to actually suggest that you have those in an immediate fashion, but the other ones are highly recommendable, especially the inositol and the glycomax. Okay, sweet. So going back to your data collection tab, this is basically how you track, okay? So every single day, starting from tomorrow, please, which is going to be the 10th of September, I would like you to weigh in. So weigh in every day for at least the next 7 to 10 days. This is going to give me an idea of your personal daily fluctuations in terms of body and scale weight, because your body weight is never going to stay the same on a day-to-day basis, okay? And I also want to see what causes any kind of weight spike or gain or anything like that throughout these next few days. So it could be the fact that your scale weight actually goes up over the next 3 days, but then on day 4 you have a huge drop, and that could be down to maybe some stress, maybe lacking of movement, maybe just a really heavy intense session, so you've got some cell swelling. It could just be down to a higher cortisol level. So say for example in your notes, which you've got here, your daily notes and journaling, you say to me, Vic, I've had a really stressful day at work. It was absolutely hectic, and it was pissing down with rain, so I couldn't get my steps in. I'm just stressed over everything. And then the very, very next day your weight spikes. That could just be down to the fact that you are very stressed. So we have to take that into consideration as well, okay? So weigh in every day for me. Then at the end of every day, I would like you to write in how many grams of fat, carbs, and protein you ingest in that day. As you can see there, it automatically correlates, or calculates even, should I say, your calories for that day. Now, I want you to ignore the calories on MyFitnessPal because they're always wrong. Okay, the algorithm that they use is going to either round up or round down the amount of calories that you have. So just go by the macros and ensure that the macros are correct, please. If you add me as a friend on MyFitnessPal, open up your diary to make it public. I can have a look in there and actually have a look at your meal choices too. So that's every day too, please. Then I want you to write down your training, what time you trained and what focus it was. So say it was a heavy bench session, for example, the amount of steps or cardio you did if it was prescribed, and then of course, like I just mentioned, your daily notes and journaling. Ignore the HRV tracking for now, but I would like a score out of 10 what your neurological focus is, your motivation to train, and your muscle soreness. Okay, so the higher the muscle soreness, the higher the score out of 10. All right, sweet. And then ignore this column here because that's mine, so just leave that blank. I will make any changes and alterations here as well as down here. All right. Next tab along is going to be your measurements. So I'm not actually going to ask for weekly measurements. I am, however, going to ask for bi-weekly measurements. Okay, so every other week, I would like you to, I'd like you to measure yourself. And again, we're going to start from tomorrow. So this is going to be your baseline measurements, which is going to be the 10th. September. So please make sure that those are done, and that's going to be your baseline. So measure in inches, please. Your biceps, I would like you to measure when flexed. Reason being is because I actually want to have a look at the muscle belly girth, not just the circumference of your arm. All right, sweet. So that's going to be every other week, please. This is your official check-in sheet. So it's actually going to be a Tuesday morning, not a Wednesday morning, because you're starting on a Tuesday. So that's the reason why you're going to check in on a Tuesday. All right. So please complete that Monday evening, please. Any check-in later than 12 is classed as late, and I cannot guarantee same-day feedback. So please make sure that it is ready and waiting for me here as early as possible on the Tuesday morning. I start work at 5:30 in the morning. So, you know, the earlier there, the earlier your feedback can get. If you just make sure that you go through all of these questions, please, and answer them to the best of your ability in as much detail as possible, that would be fabulous. Okay, the next tab along is just a list of macronutrients. Okay, now this is not a list of food that you have got to stick to by any stretch of the imagination. No food is off limit apart from the ones that you are allergic to, so obviously no nuts for you, and anything that can cause you any kind of bloating distress, any kind of adverse reactions like diarrhea or constipation or anything like that. So we're going to keep an eye on all of those too. And of course I know that you don't like pork or all derivatives, so again, just ignore these. It's just a little bit of an educational tool to tell you what is a lean protein, what's a fattier protein, a carb, and a fat. Okay, you have got some off-plan meal recommendations here as well. You've got some personal preferences additions. You haven't really told me anything that you really do love. So I've just kind of put some things in there for you. However, you just make sure that you can have those things if you wish to have them. And protein bars and things like that, just try and limit them to 3 times a week. Don't put all of your hopes on them. But yeah, things like Diet Coke and Zero Coke and stuff is absolutely fine. You've got some nutritional instructions here as well, so please read through that all the way through as well, okay? And then finally, this is your nutrient timing and supplementation. Now, at the moment, I haven't actually given you any peri-workout meal timing advice right now, apart from your protein allowance. And basically, this is still going to be a little bit high for you, but I would like you to aim between 24 and 27 grams worth of protein in each and every meal. Post-workout, you can have higher. So you can have between 30 and 33 grams post-workout, okay? And then pre-bed, the same. You can have a little bit higher. So aim for about 30 grams worth of protein from here with a higher amount of fat. So you're going to be looking at about 20 to 22 grams of fats before you go to bed. All right. So if you have a look through all of this information, I will kind of bring together some different peri-workout meal timing in terms of your carbohydrates. I would like you to place your carbohydrates around your peri-workout window, okay, so pre and post, and realistically only keep a little bit for your pre-bed meal. But to be honest, I'd probably like to keep this as low as possible. So probably between 10 and 15 grams worth of carbohydrates on that meal there. The remainder of which you can split between your pre and post workout, and you can have 2 further snacks throughout the day, or even 1 further snack realistically of protein and fat if you wanted to. But we're going to mess around with it a little bit as the days go forward. All right, sweet. So these are just kind of like some information that you can have a read through. So go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. Get back to me with questions. You are all set up and ready to go. Like I said, babes, your official check-in is going to be on a Tuesday. However, next week, there isn't going to be a check-in because I'm in the Commonwealth. So I do want you to keep in touch with me quite regularly before I leave on Thursday. So, you know, ask me as many questions as you possibly can because that's what I'm here for. Next Tuesday, I still want you to complete your check-in because I want you to get used to filling out this data for a Tuesday. And I'm going to be dipping into people's check-ins throughout the week when I have the time. But of course, I'm competing on the Monday and then I'm handling for the remainder of the week in the Commonwealth. So it's going to be very, very difficult for me to do it. But you will have all of the information there as soon as I keep on dipping into it. I just can't guarantee that it's going to be the same day feedback. It's an odd time to start, right? But we're going to do it. Okay, so that is it, my darling. We're all set up, ready to go. I'm very, very excited. Have a good read through everything. Watch this video a couple of times. Get back to me with anything and everything that you may need. And I'll be on hand. All right, sweet. I hope your grandbaby is a little bit better today and not so much of a diva from yesterday. Take it easy and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye-bye.